Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is April the 20th. It is 4/20, 2025 on the ancient moon calendar, 2026 on the ancient sun calendar, 5785 on the ancient Hebrew Israelite calendar, and 10,066 on the ancient Yoruba calendar, and years and years and years and thousands of years and millions and trillions of years on the ancient Moorish calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity and in alignment and accordance with the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this holy Congress. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the sovereign living justices and Chief Pauline Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminution nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capite et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal natural living head and body for our empire. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Shemites, Israelites, Cushites, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Moroccan empire. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We're ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earth-wide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. We are the law by our sovereign status, which is the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3 living United States District for Columbia Court. And we are the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, divine ministers, possessors, grantors, and title trustors for all causes for action. And our system is the trustee. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our divine sovereign ascension. We do possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are not at war. We are war, and we are all eternal, ancient, original sovereign rights at this time, and at all points in time, not pro-tongue. So to begin with, first we will to state Happy Ishtar Day to all the Moors. We are risen. So happy, holy Ishtar Day today to the nobility. We are risen. Islam. Today is a celebration of our grand and great rising, and the whole earth celebrates with us, because of us, for us, to us, by us, through us, Islam. Let us open the table so that we may discuss. One of the first things we will to state and to discuss is the return of our great Sheikh Tariq Bey at House of Reawakening Minds this past Friday. This past Good Friday, of course, he returned on. We are so grateful for his return. He looks amazing, as we knew he would. We all spoke that and sent healing energies to him. And as you all can see, all of our healing energies together cannot be defeated, must manifest. and we're grateful that he is well. We send our salutes and our highest honors to you, Great Sheik. And we're just grateful that that you're looking as amazing as you do. And we love that. And we love you very much as well. Can you all hear me okay?
Islam.
Great.
Islam, yes.
He never wavered.
Yes.
Yes, anyone who wills to say something about to the Grand Sheik, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that he never wavers. He stays on point. We have business to take care of. I love you all. This is how I express it. Get it taken care of.
Yeah.
Claim your estate.
Yeah.
Islam. Thank you.
Islam. We affirm, Empress Cynthia. We're just so grateful that, all is well. All is well with our nation. All is well with our great Sheik, Taj. All is well with us. So for that, we're grateful, Islam. So for those who may not have had the opportunity to see the House of Reawakening Minds, we'll go ahead and put the link in the chat so that you can take a look at it when you have some time. So if you want to just pull that link, copy and paste it onto a document so that you can watch it once Congress is adjourned. With that being stated, and we do not will to go any further until we first acknowledge Empress Dr. G. We thank her for bringing Great Sheik back on her platform. We honor you, Dr. Nyela Gilliam, and we thank you for all the work that you're doing, Islam. It takes the matriarchs to get things done, Islam.
I second that, Islam.
Yes, Islam. Now, Empress Cynthia brought up something in the meeting before the meeting. So let's just start this out, this piece, this topic. We call it the Great Immigration because we know that it's affecting subjects all over. Actors are being sent letters from the system telling them about their status and what they must do if they continue, the acting is over. So the letter that they are receiving, Morris, this letter just, the system is sending it. This letter it just opened my mind about everything that we've been stating as well. And it doesn't matter what role they've been acting out, whether they were acting as lawyers, acting as doctors, acting as presidents, acting as CEOs, acting as business owners, it doesn't matter. They're getting these letters from the system, and this is what the letter is saying to them. Notice of termination of parole. When I saw the word parole, I had to dig in and do some study because we know what parole meant where we were concerned in the previous era's enactment. It says, it is time for you to leave the United States. Now remember, this is coming from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which is not a real thing, and Washington, D.C. is not a real place. There's no place called D.C. Islam nobility. And let me just make sure I share my screen.
Yes.
Thank you, nobility.
Yes,
so this is this is the letter that they received. It says, notice of termination of parole. Did you know, and we've stated this before, but did you know that all U.S. citizens are criminals on parole? Did you know that? I'm just asking. Did anyone, because we knew that, but now we also know why the ancestors are saying what they're saying.
Islam,
Empress.
I knew that they were criminals, but I never thought about the parole part of it.
I didn't either.
Because we were thinking, well, I was thinking, and I brought it up to various ones, and I said, this is the statement that I made, was when, and I'm going to call the name, Christopher Colombo, when he came over here, they were criminals when they landed. And notice the name I gave him, Christopher Colombo, Islam.
Empress, that word parole, when I saw that, it just my turban again just.
And this just solidifies my thinking. They're all criminals.
But you know what, Empress? We were too when we thought we were U.S. citizens. And that's why we had to declare our nationality before all of this stuff happened, so we won't think that somebody can deport us off our land.
Exactly. That was the other thing that I shared with, various ones. And I gave them the example. I said, do you know why? That when we do something in error, they handcuffed us and they put us in jail. I said, do you know why? I said, why do they not ship us back over to Africa? And I said, you know why? It's because you're not from Africa. You're on your own land. They're supposed to ship you back to your country. But because we were already here, you become a prisoner of war. That's why you go to jail, Islam.
Because guess what? You're an enemy of the state. Because you're the state, but you're claiming to not be the state.
Yes. And I think about that movie, Denzel, not Denzel, that was Will Smith, I think, Enemy of the State.
Mm-hmm.
Islam.
It's all so clear. It's getting clearer and clearer, Empress Imani, and I'm just so grateful that it is. It's getting clearer and clearer for all of us. That's why nationality is so important. That's why our Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey he's the wizard who cast the spell and broke the spell for many of us. Islam, nobility.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on real quick. A part of that is, everything in these days and age, anything commercial is technically a crime because, of course, we're outside of Article 1, Section 10 with the finance that's going on.
Well, we were.
Right, because, we've gotten better, of course, over the last, 5 years or whatever. But before 2020, before 2017, largely, many people, anything commercial was a crime because people were not going back to kind of like report that, there was equity not reconciled or you were already the creditor on the account or all those various different things. So I just wanted to throw that in there too. And I'll also say really quick with the parole aspect, I didn't know this before, but let me tell you what they're able to do. Let me tell you what people are, with the, I want to call them, fake creditors, right? The fraudulent creditors. Let me tell you what they're able to do with people who are going through the system and going into jail. If you get a bond and they so-called put up some money for your bond and you don't pay them their bond, you don't pay that money back, they can garnish your paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And it took me back to some of the days that we used to use our liens and stuff like that a lot. See, a lot of times it comes down to, I believe, if the administration pieces are in there, the justice system is supposed to be set up so that the creditor can garnish. You know what I'm saying? And I know you'll probably about that. I know you'll probably speak about that later on, because I know you said you did the science on parole and stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Is this Justice Apollo?
This is Justice Apollo.
I am so glad to hear your voice again, Justice Apollo. How are you doing? You sound well.
I'm well. How are you?
You know, we're just floating and beaming because we're seeing the manifestation of everything that we've been stating, you know. So we're excited.
They was look, Empress, they was trying to be funny on Facebook, but I'm like, y'all realize this Empress, she beat every case that ever got thrown at her. And all the ones that didn't so-called get beat, they're old cases that they don't want to take to a trial because they don't want the truth to come out in trial. I'm dealing with the same thing. I beat a case, and the only case I have a case open from 2 years ago is because they will not schedule the trial date. Obviously, the whole thing is in fraud because we know they don't have the jurisdiction, but there are so many ways in even their admiralty procedure that you can open up the door to go into constitutional law of the land. Do you see what I'm saying?
You must be the judge. That's how you do it. You must be the judge.
Right, exactly. All right, by asking questions as the king comes in and always asking the questions. And when you ask the right questions, you always see they get an attitude, they don't want to answer them. But you ask questions that steer them into those oaths that they took to the organic original Constitution, making them answer the Sixth Amendment, explaining the nature and cause of the action, you know what I'm saying? And they have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that I really wanted to add that part in about the parole piece, because I think you'll probably talk about that more when we talk about some of those other financial things.
Yes. There are other layers to that parole piece that let us know for sure that a U.S. subject is under our sovereign authority. I'm telling you, it's a layered piece.
Islam,
Empress Shash.
I'm sitting here and I'm listening, and I, of course, went hunting down the word.
Of course, Miss Empress Dictionary. Enlighten us.
I know you know, but I'm just sitting here and what's going through my head again. In the beginning was the word.
Yes, Islam.
Parole, parla, the word. It's just,
Yes.
Yeah. It is, It is so clear. And of course, the prisoner of war and liberty. It's just...
all of that. Empress Shasha, when I saw the word parole, I thought about you. I said, wait till Empress Shasha sees this.
Seriously, I am just like, wow.
They're all getting this letter.
Because, and it's just so... Oh my gosh, I have to make some phone calls. Hi.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just the word.
Yes.
The word.
And see, now, Empress Shasha, we can see where the path is being cleared for us to have the properties and the things that we will to have for our posterity and all of that.
Because they are being moved. There's no rebuttal. There's no nothing. 7 days. And Saba, here we are again.
Yeah. It's and we're not gloating, but it is remarkable to me how quickly our ancestors are working.
No, absolutely. There is no gloat in this.
Yeah.
There is no gloat in this. It's just the truth. But as you say, our ancestors are not playing.
They are not playing. They're so serious about us. They're so serious about us and sensitive about us as well.
And right. And we have all earned the right to talk and state and speak on this. No gloating required. But hey,
Islam.
Nobility.
I'm just listening. I like their vibes.
Yeah. Our ancestors are. Go ahead, Infrashash.
Because this is what I do. This is in the word within me. I look at it backwards and forward.
Ooh.
And parole. L-O rap.
Yeah.
It's rap.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's powerful.
Wow. Yeah.
That's very powerful.
I'm really and truly, beyond anything, it's the word that is shooking me, shaking me.
Yeah.
The true etymological mother meaning of that word.
Yeah.
How many walked with that chain when it really
Yes.
But
yes.
Hey, in the beginning was the word, and the word is God.
And here we are.
Here we are. That's it.
So,
Hello.
Our ancestors, it was only a matter of time before we got to this point in the first place. And here's the thing. No one in any office, there's no one who was acting as officers that's exempt. Not one of them that was acting as officers is exempt.
Ashe.
If they haven't declared their nationality or declared their subject status on this land, and that's earthwide on the land.
Yeah.
Islam.
Islam, Empress Imani.
I think I just got a download. If I don't consider it a download, then I would consider it to be a linking. And here's the linking. So here's the letter that they were given, right? So what was it, 2 or 3 Congresses ago, where we decided to terminate all capitalism?
Absolutely, that had everything to do with it, yes.
I just made the connection. I'm like, wow, this is it. Voila!
Our ancestors were waiting for us to do that.
Wow.
But see, we had to put something in its place and then know what we were doing when we did it.
Exactly.
See, we've been talking about that capitalism piece for years. For years, we've been talking about it and putting measures and processes in place and system in place. And now that the system is here and we made the proclamation, the law. That's how this whole thing works, Empress, is when we get the right answer, the ancestors say, okay, here you go. Here's a gift for you.
Wow. Just how amazing is this?
Yes, it's beautiful.
This
it's
is the evidence.
Yes.
And the questions that we had behind it, what would it look like? And how would it affect, us, them, who?
Yes.
And look.
Those are the answers. This is how. And it's exactly what we stated.
Islam.
We said that identity is going to be the order for the day.
Yes.
Who are you? And if you're not who you're supposed to be, you can't stay here. Didn't we say that?
Yes, I remember. I recall.
And this thing is, let's just finish, just read some more of this. It says, you are currently here because the Department of Homeland Security, quote unquote, and I'm going to put that in quotes, paroled you into the United States for a limited period. When I saw that sentence, my turban just, I was like, what? Wow. Paroled into the United States for a limited period. Now, the limited period has been since 1871, Morris. Think about that. Since 1871. Pursuant to 8U.S.C. subsection 1182D5A and 8 CFR, and we restated both of those. We've restated that the United States codes are restated, and the codes for federal regulation are restated as well. Subsection 212.5E. DHS, quote unquote, is now exercising its discretion to terminate your parole. Now think about this, Moors. When there's something about terminating of parole, that means that a contract has been cut. A contract has been stopped. We had to terminate corporate contracts first before anybody else would. We had to do it first. So we did it. That's one of the first 6 documents, is a termination of all corporate contracts. That was the second step after nationality. That was the second step to ending capitalism, fraudulent foreign capitalism, to ending that. And see, now these people cannot, under capital letters, pretend to be a lawyer, a doctor, a mailman, a business owner, a president, a governor, a mayor, a police officer. Those were all in all capital letters. They can't pretend to be that anymore, because we outlaw capitalism. It's suspended. And our ancestors knew what they were doing when we used the word suspended, because that gives us an opportunity to see what happens when we make that move, and then we make the adjustments to the law accordingly. It says, unless it expires sooner, your parole will terminate 7 days from the date of this notice. Well, a lot of that 7 days is gone for a lot of folks, a lot of persons, not people, persons. It says, if you do not depart the United States immediately, you will be subject to potential law enforcement actions that will result in your removal from the United States, unless you have otherwise obtained a lawful basis to remain here. Now remember, they're going between lawful and legal. That's what's happening here. They're going between U.S. and United States, and they're also going between being a subject and pretending to have some type of title. Any benefits you receive in the United States connected with your parole, such as work authorization, will also terminate. You will be subject to potential criminal prosecution, civil fines and penalties, and any other lawful options available to the federal government. And federal government is in all lowercase letters. And it's talking about civil fines because they're talking about civil rights. We are not the civil rights people. We're the sovereign people. It says, DHS encourages you to leave immediately on your own. You can use the CBP Home mobile app on your phone to make arrangements for your departure. If you are departing the United States via land, you should report your departure once outside the United States via that same app. If you're having trouble reporting your departure via land, visit blah, blah, blah for more information about voluntarily reporting your departure. Again, DHS is terminating your parole. Do not attempt to remain in the United States. The federal government will find you. Please depart the United States immediately. So that's basically just a get out letter, basically. So it is up to this Congress and the Moors as a whole to continue to, number one, speak the law. Don't ever walk back your words, because anything that we put on the public record, if we choose to modify it together, we can modify it and do things accordingly. But what is happening now is what is necessary to happen, where delineation is concerned. And when I say delineation, I mean that, for example, if you have a closet and that closet is messy, the best way to clean out the closet is pull everything out first and then start putting in the things neatly or in an organized manner that you will to have in there. And that's what's happening now, is we're clearing off the land, and then we're saying, okay, now we'll have this and we'll have that and we'll have this and that on the land. That's the most organized, the quickest, and the most effective way to govern a resource. And our land is the resource, and so are our people.
Islam
nobility.
I have to share this. I received a letter from the office of the subjects in the office of attorney concerning the team that I placed. One of the things he put in a letter was that the court was not recognized by the United States, that the lien was fraudulent. A number of things were said in the letter, but like I was dealing with this on yesterday, and I got a chance to Noble Yatube, and I was like, preparing for the challenge, right? And then I hear this.
Yeah.
He's not even who he think he is. But
he's not.
If you are part of the so-called Moorish sovereign, blah blah blah. Basically,
so we can just about tell you why they took that tone, why the subjects took that tone. Let me just ask you a question or two about whatever it was that you sent them. And this is not a criticism. Don't take it that way. This is because see, we know that language when we hear it, and it always has to do with our process, because they know we're God. They know that we are the government. And if there's anything in our process that is not quite as competent as it's going to be, then they try and get you when you don't know those little things. They try and scare you and cast that spell when you don't know those little things, but they already know that it's going to come quickly. So let me just ask you, when you mailed the documents, did you use the government mailing process?
No, I uploaded the documents.
Okay. Was there any exchange of fiat or anything like that to get on to wherever you uploaded them to?
Yes.
And that's why they say that. That's why they're taking a tone of seeming government. Because anytime you use fiat to do something, they know that they kind of got you a little bit, but not really. Because jurisdiction can be invoked at any time. So now what is necessary, and this is why we have the government mailing process, and thank you for your honesty about that, because sometimes people will be like, I didn't use no fiat, or whatever. And we know what that language, we know what they're saying. They're actually just sending a hint. That's why they don't send people to kick the doors in and all of that. They send a hint to try and let you know that, okay, we saw something that we saw an open door for them to try and pretend to take back over. So our suggestion would be just to use the government mailing process and send those same documents that you sent via that process. And when they see the government mailing process, they don't question it. They already know this is the government speaking. Because see, whatever they sent you back, whatever they sent back, I can guarantee you they paid to send it.
They didn't send me anything back. this individual retained an attorney from
an attorney. Yeah.
And so I received an email. But what I sent was on government letterhead. Everything, was this is why he could make reference to if you're part of a so-called moorishe, whatever. But
when if you use their military script, then they do military actions back, because that's really what it is a military action. Fiat is a military, it's military script, it's military paper. And so that's why we have our own processes that is honored by the system. And when we send it, all you have to know is that you sent it.
Okay.
And then you enforce your word from that point. And usually they stop talking altogether then, usually, but it's going to be important to stay uncorrupted, because see, fiat is a corrupter of our processes. It's a corrupter. So what we're doing is working our way and putting things in place so that we don't have to use it. So if you don't send fiat to mail it, then your mailing it goes through the system. Just like what the Empress showed at the beginning, before we started recording, she showed it's going to get where it's going that was the government mailing process. So it's going to get where it's going.
Right.
Yeah. So learn that process, nobility. Print up your stamps, because we print our own stamps. Print up your stamps. And if you need to know where the stamps are, we'll show you really quickly how to download the stamps.
I have them.
Okay, good.
I have the file, and I've also printed out some. Yes.
So for those who do not know where the stamps are located, you can go to Light Tajiri Base channel on YouTube, and we have a post office video where we did a lien, levy, and bond on the post office, and the stamps are under there. They're linked under that video as well. So that's for anyone who doesn't know where to receive the stamps that we designed as a Congress and agreed upon, that we've been using for years. We never pay anything to either upload or send anything, because we send it by mail, by post office. And there are some protections and some insurances and assurances and there's some perks to sending it by way of post office, because that actually creates an account, a financial account, when you send it by post office, a guaranteed financial account when you send it by post office.
Thank you.
You're welcome, nobility, and thank you for your work. You're demonstrating. That's what we love.
Thank you.
It's necessary. See, and you're doing it fearlessly. That's what I love about that, is you're not even scared. I love it. Islam. Justice Willie.
Hello, darling. How are you? Sugar dumpling.
Nobility. I don't generally allow that type of language. I don't allow people to call me those types of names.
Because you're sugar and spice and all, that's nice, man.
I'm going to let you do that one more time. Right here today, I'm going to let you do it one more time. This
I can't help myself,
I know. We get it. We get it.
I want to ask you a question, though, on a serious note. Why are we using the term government instead of sovereigns, or we the people? Because based on my little knowledge and limited knowledge, to govern means to control, and ment mean mentality, mind. So why are we using that term instead of sovereigns, which we are, and we're part of we the people? Can you elaborate?
Yes, because it is our own mental that must be governed first before we can govern anything outside of ourselves. So this really is more about us governing our own mental first. Then we can talk about money and property and lands and subjects and all of that, because this first, the mental must be governed first. I had to govern my own mental first before I could actually see all the things that we see. I had to get my mental under my own authority and not under the authority of some program running somewhere.
Were you an A student?
In most classes, yes.
I think that was an excellent comeback, an excellent answer. I give you an A for that.
We govern our
Thank
mental.
you very much.
We govern our mental, indeed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that.
Yes, indeed, nobility.
Islam,
Justice Ogunwale.
Islam. I've had trouble with the certified mail and return receipt. The lady told me, she came out the building after I dropped my mail in the box, and said that they're going to have to return my mail. And she explained because the certified mail is extra postage. Because when I told her it was government mail, she did respond that, but the certified mail is extra postage. You got to pay for that. So I got my mail back and took it somewhere else. Yes.
When was the last time somebody working anywhere followed you outside to tell you something? I just want you to think about that. When was the last time anybody came from behind the register and followed you outside to tell you anything about anything? When was the last time that happened?
Very seldom, very seldom.
So then you know she was out of alignment by coming outside, because see, once you get outside the business, you're not doing business there anymore. So why would she come out there to try and get your agreement? Because that's really why she came out there. Because she couldn't have told you that inside. You know why she couldn't have told you that inside? Because it's a lie. When you listen, we've been through all of that right there. We've been through all of that multiple times in the last 7 years. We've been through that, particularly the first 2 or 3 years when we were doing our mailing process. You know, they tried everything to get us to stop doing it, but we wouldn't stop. We just kept looking at. Now, here's the thing: we're not mad at them. They're supposed to test the process. But we had to keep looking at, okay, let's make sure that we're following our own process that we put on the public record. Make sure we put it on the public record, and then keep doing it and keep doing it and keep going back to the same place once you have checked and modified your process to the point where you know that process is right. So every now and then they would, the size of the envelope in the beginning, the size of the envelope was not the right size. And, you know, we had all these different other things going on when we were doing our mailing process. They would try, they don't see, and here's the thing, her speaking to you was not even necessary. It wasn't even necessary for her to speak to you. Why? Because if the process is wrong, see, she had to get you to agree that it was wrong before they could give you back the packages. Or else they couldn't have gave them back to you. They would have had to send them on where they was going.
Well, let me explain this. They had already sent some back at that location, and they already had let a whole lot go through, too. Okay? So it's I think somebody was on vacation and then came back. No?
None of that matters.
Okay.
Because they don't even touch our stuff most of the time.
Okay.
It goes into a basket. The basket is rolled into the back and dumped onto a conveyor belt that gets it where it's going. So they don't even touch them. So it don't matter who's on vacation or who's not on vacation.
Okay. They touched them.
Now, that means that there's something in the mailing process that needs to be adjusted.
Okay.
From what I saw with what the Empress showed at the beginning, from what I saw, You just need to type the place that you're sending it to. You just need to type out wherever you're sending it to.
I had it on there. It was on the back of the return receipt card, and their address is on the front. And I had 3 labels on the front, and then the return receipt green card was on the back. Yes, I had all the address. I had everything. I checked it because it's not my first time going through this.
Okay.
So,
let me tell you what I saw on there. First, we're grateful that the package got through. Mm-hmm. Your territory does not need to be in brackets. You put your territory in brackets. Brackets are like a casket. Brackets are for capitalized words that are dead words. That's what brackets are for. You actually are at your territory, so it doesn't need brackets.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I noticed at the mailing, and we're glad the mailing got there. We also know that it's that when we all speak with one voice, no one says no to us. Okay. Justice Imani says that's what stood out for her as well, is that that your city and your state were in brackets. You know, so take the brackets off.
The acting head lady there, I got her name. She wouldn't give me a last name.
Yeah, we don't even address them on our liens anyway. We just address whoever it was that was acting as the CEO. We lien them, and then they send the word down, and then people start getting
around and lien all the post offices in the city, almost.
Yeah, those aren't their offices, and you did all the right things by letting that be known. You did all the right things, but see, it doesn't do us any good to argue back and forth. I don't even talk to them. I don't have to talk to them, and they know not to talk to me. Why? Because the process is going to process, and the system is going to system. And when the system starts sending us our things back, we just start looking at the process, saying, okay, what is being said here? Why is this coming back? Is something in our process? And let me tell you, it can be something as simple as a hyphen in the wrong place, and the system will say, that's not what the Moore said. They said no hyphens. So send this back. And the system will send it back. And then there'll be third-party interlopers that chase you outside and try and act like they're in charge of the system when they're not. But see, they cannot tell you not to put your city and state in brackets. They can't tell you that because they don't even know. That's not part of their process. It's our process. So we have to come together and look at what we're doing and say, okay, I don't think this part is right. Let's take this out and let's update it to this and this. And then it'll go through. Yeah.
Point of it. I'd like to point.
Islam infrastructure.
I had similar encounter with the post office. I went there, I got a receipt that a package was there for me. I went there to pick up the package, and then when I went, the cashier or the lady around the counter demanded that I give her a proper identification, because I gave her my moorishe identification. And she insisted that she's not going to give me the package because it's not a proper identification, and she needs a driver's license. So I told her, no, I don't have such thing. I don't have a driver's license, right? And I just left. And what I did, I wrote the so-called Postmaster General, and I reported her and addressed the entire situation, and they ended up sending the package in my mailbox. So, I didn't have to go to the post office to get it, so they sent the package to me, because Empress Angel actually sent me a mail in the sovereign way method. And wanted me to show them a driver's license to get it. I said, no, I don't have that. I'm not giving them a driver's license.
So, Empress, first you did all the right things. Yes, stand. You stood strong, and of course you got your way. Of course you got your way. What we did, because we know systems, is we created our own driver's license. Some Moors don't agree with that. They don't want a driver's license at all because they say they have the right to travel, and that's great. If you choose not to do it, you don't have to do it because you're sovereign.
I have a travel card.
Huh?
I have a moorishe travel card that I use.
Okay.
Card, not a license. It doesn't say driver's license. I have a travel card.
I have a travel card also. Yes, I have a travel card also. Now let me ask you, Empress, do you drive or travel in a conveyance with tags on it or whatever the case may be?
Okay. I have two options that I do. One, I have my own plate that I've created, sovereign plate, and I've notified the system about it. And I also have when you purchase a new vehicle, they said that they have to register it. So what I did was, before 3 days, I did the revocation, a formal affidavit of revocation, and I sent that in. So yeah, and I just boldly go about doing my thing and travel with my travel card, and I've been traveling with my travel card for over a year now.
You did a revocation. What was the what were you revoking?
Revoking the entire transaction, the driver's license plate and the whole contractual agreement that goes with the initial purchase. I did a revocation of that before 3 days, within the 3 days. Yeah.
So this is what's happening there systemically. We'll speak to it from a systems perspective. The system is trying to capitalize on the transaction because of the way the transaction was done, because of the how it was originally done. The system is saying we have the right to capitalize on that, which they do not. So everything that you did is correct. From our perspective, the thing that we have found most successful for us is to rebut everything they created. We rebut it with our own process. Travel and driving are two different things. Travel is lawful movement. That means that you can go wherever you will to go because you're sovereign and it's your land. Driving is where there's commercial exchange going on. So, for example, if you were to go to the grocery store and you did a commercial exchange there, then you're using your conveyance to do commerce. Some people still think that's travel, and it is from a lawful perspective, but you've also opted into the system of commerce. And I won't say you've opted in. I'll say that you have decided to use the process because you're still not in anybody's system. You're sovereign, just like we all are, So the remedy that we have found that works best for us is we crafted and created our own driver's licenses. And we're the ones who get to put the rules in place for our driver's licenses. And the first thing is that anything we create, we control. No one has authority over it. No one has authority over it. And when it comes to systems things, we can use our driver's license for systems things without being put in there under capitalism, because our driver's license are not capitalized instruments. The travel card is absolutely what we should be using. the driver's license is optional until you decide that you will to use systems to do things. Grocery stores were optional for us. They still are. But let me tell you how, because some people don't get this part yet, but they'll get it after a while. The grocery stores were the leftovers from the things we grew. We grew so much. We have so much land, so much growth. I mean, one of us with a 1-bedroom apartment with a balcony can grow enough food to feed half a neighborhood if we worked on it. So we didn't necessarily have to go to commercial processes, is what I'm saying. So my point being, Empress, that you don't have to give them a driver's license. They weren't even supposed to be in your business anyway, because that was between you and Empress Anagel. Okay, that was between the two of you, using your system of mailing things. Every now and then they'll test. That test happened for you to see if you would stand, and you stood. So it's completely up to you. If you will to create your own driver's license, you can do that. If you choose to do it. If you choose not to, then, just continue standing. That's a great demonstration for anyone else to see and know that everything we will to have, we will have it. Okay, we will have it. That's a given. It's just a matter of the processes. And all we got to do is put the processes in place.
My understanding driver's license implied, right? And
say that again, Empress.
My understanding of a driver's license is that you are in agreement to be employed by the state. And if someone employs you, they should be paying you. So I don't recall having any agreement to be employed by the state. So if something is going to tie me to a document of such nature, I don't want to have anything to do with that document.
Okay.
That's my where it's concerned.
Who are you calling the state?
Well, the so-called state, de facto state, the de facto state. Yes.
Until and this is what we would say, until you know for sure in your mind that they are not the state, and that you will never call them the state because they are not the state, and that when you know for sure that you can create it because you're the state, because see, I work for our state. That means I'm self-employed.
On the de facto state, right? Yes.
To me, there's no such thing as a de facto state. We're the state in fact and at law.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, they don't even exist, is what I'm saying. But all we have to do is rebut everything that was out there, including the driver's license. And that's why we did what we did with the driver's license. And then we hopped on a plane and went to Atlanta, Georgia, the land, and back with our driver's license, and we just keep on moving. And I guarantee you nobody asked us for a driver's license since then, because the system already knows we got that. That's a piece of cake. We got that. That's nothing. We can do that. There is no state but the Moors. There is no state but the Moors. There's no post office but the Moors. There's no United States but the Moors. Everything else is subject, period. The one talking to you was on parole.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yes.
And you can tell them that too. You're on parole. Why are you even speaking?
Exactly. They're admitting it to themselves. They're even admitting it with this letter that we're reading.
That's why whenever we're out at the territories, the first thing out of our mouth is a court action. What is your name? And I don't care what they say. What is your name? First, let's identify the parties so that I can tell you what you already know. I'm Chief Justice Light Tajiri Bay. Now, what is the issue? And do you understand before you say another word that you're hereby bound by the Constitution for the United States? And I don't even, those are not ego statements. We just know what our ancestors told us. And if we don't do it, we get our butts kicked. And I'm not trying to do that.
Right.
There's no need for us to have any more issues, no more struggle, no more issues, no more poverty, no more of any of that. When we can just do a court action and and calm everybody down.
Islam,
Empress.
Oh, I was just trying to see if my microphone was working because I've been having so many challenges with it.
Loud and clear. We can hear you very
great.
loud and clear. Yeah.
Great. Islam. I yield.
Islam. So, court actions, no matter who you're speaking to, as we continue, and Empress Shernette, we can see the process of transformation happening in your words. It's a very beautiful process. You are knowing in your spirit that you're the state, you're the law, you're the government. Because see, Justice Willie asked a question about why we use the word government, which is a great question. It's because of that very thing. Somebody else was trying to govern our mental. Yeah. And every word they said, they tried to govern our mental with their words. That's why we use the word government. Because now we're governing their mental.
Or we're governing mental, because they have derailed us, over the years, and miseducate us and treated us poorly. So now we're getting back into a rightful state of existence and taking control. So I'm just happy to be a part of this process and to be a part of this Congress that has helped us to, effectively do so, because I am feeling empowered, more and more on this journey and being in this Congress. I'm really appreciative.
Empress, we're just grateful that you're here because we already know we can hear the power. We can hear that. For us, we're so powerful we have to put processes in place so that we keep our power in the right, because we could tear up a whole planet if we don't, if we don't keep our power into, we're that powerful. We could tear up a whole universe, and we don't want to do that because that's part of our state. So that's why the processes are in place. That's what the processes do, is they help us to govern our mental and our energy and keep our energy flowing in the right direction so that all that is ours continues to come to us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're very powerful, Internet. I can hear it. It's very powerful.
Thanks for the inspiration. I really love you for that.
Islam. I love you too. You know that, sis.
Islam.
Justice Anthony.
Peace and great grand rising, all the Moors. Enough love and respect.
Islam.
Thank you for being here again for us, Empress. Gratitude. I just want to ask you, did you receive my package that I have mailed out since March 10th?
What did you mail, Nobility? Was it Camp
No, the busy.
No.
You remember the busy I was showing you?
Yes, and I have not received it yet. It has not come through yet.
Okay, I'm going to have to check with the tracking number because I kind of suspected that it never got there because I had an issue at the post office. Mm-hmm. I followed all the steps of our mailing process, but they didn't recognize it there. They didn't want to send it out, telling me that they had to put stamps on it.
Okay, so there's a box there that you can put it in that is a different process from the retail counter.
Okay, let me tell you what happened, Empress. It couldn't fit in an envelope that I could have just went and dropped it in the, you know, the thing without going to engage with them. So I had to put it in a box.
Okay.
So with the box, the only way I could have sent the box, there was no accommodation for it through any slots or anything of that nature. So I had to take it to one of the subjects. And I got into it with them. I had to supervise everybody. Anyhow, they refused to accept it because it didn't have stamps on it. So one was, before she was calling the supervisor and telling her about the stamp that's on it that says it was only valid, no charges for in the United States, I said to her, make sure you tell her what's on the other side of the stamp. And the section of the law is right there. She said, I'm not telling her anything. So I said to her, giving you a direct order. I'm your postmaster general. Here's my ID. I'm giving you a direct order to mail the package out. Tell me she's not doing it. I said, okay. All right. So I took the package and I went around to the office section of the building and got her supervisor. And they put me through the same nonsense, didn't want to recognize who I am, or they didn't want to, you know, recognize our mailing process. So they tell me that it needed 2 stamps. So I said, send it out. They said, well, if we send it out, it's not going to go out. We could have put it in the box, but when it gets to a certain part of the building, they're not going to accept it.
Okay.
And it won't come back to you. So they tell me that the only way it would go out is unless they put 2 stamps on it. So I said, all right, go ahead and put the stamps. Because there was one thing in my mind, is that I wanted to get to where it was going. Because I wanted to get there before the date of the 20th for the trade launch. That was all it was in my mind, for it to get there before the date.
Yes.
And I haven't received anything. I have the tracking number and everything there, because I did the full process with the green mailing, return receipts, everything. Yes. With the stamp, the everything.
Okay, Justice Anthony.
Yes.
First and foremost, thank you for sending. Thank you for demonstrating.
You're welcome, Empress.
Now, we're going to say something here that not just you, but every other Moor must know about any place that you go to do whatever you're going to do. There's no place that we can go where we can't govern the whole process from start to finish without speaking to any subjects. You could have, and we've done it many times, like one time we went to the post office and our deposit box, and this is a faux pas, this is a no-no, our deposit box was locked and we couldn't get our packages in there. So, because we don't go into the retail part of the building. We don't even go over there unless we're getting some certified return receipt labels and things, you know, anything that we can just pull freely, but we still don't have to talk to anybody for that. So when it was locked, I just went into the real retail part and set the package on the counter and walked out. They can't not send that package forward when it's properly labeled. Just remember, when we were in quote unquote corporate America, in the corporate world working, if somebody came off the street and brought something in, we couldn't just throw it in the trash. We had to deal with it somehow. Even if it wasn't right, we had to take it to a supervisor, or if we were the supervisor, we had to figure out what we were going to do with it, right?
I agree, Empress.
So you didn't have to go talk to anybody there. And we're going to keep stating that because we don't need their approval to send our stuff.
Indeed, we don't. I'm going to say something, Empress.
Hold on a minute.
Yes.
They have you think that they have to pick your box up and do this with it and do that, and oh, it doesn't have the right this, so we don't have that. No. When we put our packages in there, they go right into a basket, and then that basket is rolled to a conveyor belt that puts it address side up. And that conveyor belt sends it, and there's a computer that looks down on it, and it sees the address, and it directs it to the truck that it's going to go to that will get it to that area, to the next place, to the next designation, so that it can get closer and closer until it gets to its designation. That is all automated. That doesn't have anything to do with a retail part of the postal service. We don't need the postal service because we are the post office. So we don't have to go back and forth with servants, because that's what that is.
I agree. It shouldn't be like that. And the process you just explained, I'm not even sure if that's how it is here. This country, Empress, is a weird place. I'll tell you something, Empress. I remember Empress Sasha went there to the post office, and they threw her stuff on the floor twice.
So
yes,
they want you to go back and forth with them. You must resist doing that. And Empress Sasha did the right thing too. She left.
Yes.
Because guess what? They're not going to leave it there.
Eventually, they have to take it up.
But if we don't know that, and we think that they done tossed it, no, they're under contract.
Yes.
They can go to jail for mishandling mail. Do you remember that's a federal offense?
I know.
Okay, so we don't have to argue with them about any of that, because the system will system on them too. It's our system.
Surely indeed it is.
So our job is to not argue, we don't even have to talk to them at all. Because why? We don't need their permission to do anything. If we have a question, yeah, we can question them at any time. And that's not questioning authority, that's the authority questioning the subjects. We have to know that too when we're speaking. But there's no need for us to go back and forth with them about anything when we know our processes. Now, if whatever you sent, you have to look at the addresses and the way they were written also, just to make sure that, there wasn't any brackets or zip codes.
No, none of that.
Okay.
None of that.
And see, they know that too, that they have to send it on, because they know that when we put something there, it must go get where it's going, because it's government. They can go to jail for not doing that. But we don't have to talk to them about that. You could have just put it on the counter, and that was a test for you. It was a test for you. So next time you'll know.
Indeed it was.
Just put it on the counter.
Indeed it was. And I accepted what happened, because I knew that was my first test.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say that it was a test.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. But my main interest is I wanted to get to its destination before the trade launch date, which was the 20th.
That's okay. The ancestors know what they're doing by even it getting here later than that.
Okay.
It's not late. It's going to be right on time by the time it get here.
Okay. Because if it don't and they tamper with it, I'm going to send more.
Okay, please don't.
I'm going to keep sending.
Please don't say if they tamper with it, because they will if you say that, because that's giving them permission.
Okay. But I'm going to keep sending more.
Of course. But take back the tampering thing. Just if you
Indeed, true Empress.
Yeah, no one has permission to tamper. See, and that's the thing about governing our mental and governing our emotions. Because when we get emotional, we'll be like, I don't care what they do. If they and they'll be like, yeah, we got permission to do this, this, and this. Because they gave us permission to do it. Justice Anthony, thank you for your demonstration.
There's a lot more to come, Empress. That is just a start.
They know, you know, and we know.
Indeed, Empress.
Everybody knows that you have emerged and you've risen. Justice Anthony.
Gratitude. Gratitude.
Islam.
No love and respect. Islam, Empress.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, nobility.
I just have to say, I appreciate the dialogue, because this is also another thing that I was talking to the noble about yesterday, about mailing using this, our own stamps, and
yes,
I'm feeling confident to try it for the first time, because I would never do it, but tomorrow, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just go ahead and demonstrate. But let me tell you, I went to the post office and I ended up talking to the manager. She said they were not accepting the stamps there, but when I go to
she ain't the manager, that's why.
I don't even have to have a conversation with her. Just leave it on the counter or drop it in the box.
That's it.
I yield. Thank you so
much. Check your addresses and make sure your addresses are put on there correctly, both where it's coming from and where it's going to, and just honor the process, and the system will honor the parcel.
Well, the test is I'm mailing something to myself.
Okay.
So I'll know firsthand.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The system is going to do what systems do.
I love it. Beautiful.
All we had to do was agree and say, okay, we're going to put this on the public record. This is how it's going to be done.
It's just amazing, all of the things that I was talking about on yesterday, and you guys are addressing it. You're addressing it. Like, it's
we are one, Justice Johnny. We're all thinking with the same mind.
Right.
It's called the singularity.
I just appreciate it because, sometimes, on the journey, you just can feel like it's just you. But this is good that we have a body where we can come together and talk about different things and get clarity on things, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Justice Johnny. We speak with one voice is real. Islam, Justice Anthony.
Justice Johnny. Yes, sir. We saw your, we even heard your email that you were ill. I'm happy to see you feeling much better.
Yes, during that time I was going through, but I am so much better. I started doing 1 day fast, 1 day eat, 1 day fast, and I did that for about 3 weeks and eliminated some of the stuff that I was taking in, and I really feel so much better. I mean, a lot.
I'm really happy to see you, brother, because the email that we received about your health, I was really worried about that. Honestly, Bridget.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see that you're here with us.
It's a challenge when you live in a house with 8 people, and you see the pizzas coming in, and it's a challenge. And I'm working on trying to get the family to agree to let's agree to, one, grow our own food, stop eating, because a lot of the food is poison, and it's making us sick, So I've been paying a lot of attention to what I take in and what I drink. One time I was drinking a lot of sodas and stuff like that. I don't do that anymore. I have to.
All right. I'll tell you something, Virgin. Try to consume, a lot of bitters. one of the things that I had sent to the Empress for the launch was some busy that will clear out all poison from out of your system. Busy. It's coconut. I will try to send you some. You know, if I can, I will send you some so you could clean out whatever poison that's in your system. A lot of people, they don't understand that before you could heal your system, you know, you have to clean it out first before you can start taking anything to heal. Because if you're sick and you're taking herbs to heal, it's not going to help you. That's why a lot of people complain that herbs don't help. It's because they're doing it wrong. You have to first clean out your system first before you start taking herbs to build your system. So if I get a chance, you know, I'll go back in the country, I'll get you some of that busy, and I'll send you some, and you clean out your system. Then try to start taking a lot of bitters. So the bitters will clean your blood. And once your blood is clean and your blood starts flowing through your body, it will start putting your body back on track, because it is the blood that keeps your body functioning.
Islam.
So yeah, you need, yes, Empress.
And fasting will do it even if you don't have access to bitters. Fasting will do it.
Yes.
Fasting will.
That's why I did the fasting, because it's a lot of eliminated stuff that we, you know, when you eat meat, it'll stay in your system for a long time. Fasting is the best way. If you do 3 days.
And we want to stay on track. We do want to stay on topic here. We don't want to go get too far off topic. But yes, fasting.
All right.
I received that.
Yeah, Islam. We're glad
I will email you, Justice John, and we continue to talk more on the subject about your head.
Appreciate it.
Islam.
Thank
you, Justice Anthony.
You're most welcome, Empress.
Islam, Justice Nate.
Yes, I would like to send peace and love out to everyone and invoke the angel of the day, Michael, to assist us in all that we are doing here, the great missionary work. And I would like to add on to what we was just talking about with our office of post.
Yes.
You know, because I like to go in. I'm more hands-on. I like to go in and actually test my subjects. So I went into one of the office of post just to ask questions. You know, to get to know the post I'm running. You know, and what I've learned by asking questions, like the prophet said, go in and ask them with the intelligent tone. Those who know, not just law, but you know operations and know what they're doing in order to better run our empire. So dealing with the office of post, what I've learned that is when you do have big packages like boxes and stuff, and we're using our mail-in process, that when you do drop it off, because you can drop the box off, they usually have a window. You just drop it in the window, and usually what I do is that, you know, I do a court action, I video it, and then I post it on my channel that I've made with WhatsApp, my Postmaster channel, and I leave it at the window. And what I've learned when I went to go ask one of the subjects in the office of post, they said that, you know, once the package come in, if there's no, if it needs extra stamping, they would put a registered stamp on it, or they would put extra posters on it, just to get your package where it needs, without you even, you know, using their that system. The system does it itself. It will automatically put a stamp on it. So that's what I learned through my journeys and stuff, and asking questions in the office of post, that it goes out, you know, unbothered. And anytime you send something, you don't have to talk to them. Like said, Empress Light said, you don't have to talk to them. You just leave it there, and they'll put the stamp on it themselves and make sure it gets to where it's supposed to go. That's all I want to add. Islam.
Islam. The system is going to do what systems are supposed to do. We just have to know that we're not sending retail packages. We're sending post office and government parcels, first class parcels. See, when they say that a package is first class, they're actually talking about the status of the sender. Did you know that?
Islam.
Yeah.
They're not even talking about the package. They're talking about the jurisdiction. That's a jurisdictional term. First class, second class, express. Express is a trust term. See? They've known the whole time. Those words are not by accident. That's why our process is so important. That's why using the mailing process is so important. Islam. Parole. Islam, Empress.
One small thought to share. Islam, Anajal Mahat Kabade, Canaan Land Territory. So I too had received a package in tribute. I received the box from the Noble, and what I noticed was that when I received the green return receipt, it was reversed. So the side that is the sender should be out, so that the subjects can read it. When I received the address with my domicile address was what was out, and so that was my only observation. That may assist in the mailing process or the postage process for the note.
Islam. Things to be noted. Things to be noted. Now that we all know our own mailing process, we can really pick up the tempo on providing for each other. Because you see what's happening. There's a lot going on. Parole, a parable, speech, word. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with us, and the Word is us. Parole, word of honor, promise. This is why they kept talking about the promised land. The promised land is where we are governing, and people are brought in on a promise. Persons are brought in on a promise, and really it's people brought in on a promise. It's people brought in on a promise, and when they fulfill their promise, they get privileges, not rights, privileges. That's where the term white privilege came from. Is when they first came here, they got the privilege to do things that they couldn't do where they came from, which was Europe. As it says here, especially the promise of a military prisoner that if released from captivity or given certain privileges, he will meet requirements made by his captors. Usually a promise to take no further part in the fighting. This is why we always state that we are not at war. Because, see, when we're not at war, the subjects will do whatever they're commanded to do. They will do their part. They already know their part. We don't have to keep telling them. We must stand and be ourselves. The focus needs to be on us. That's what this is all about. And when you hear the word captivity, think capitalism.
Islam.
Islam.
Like, you always open up a can of worms for me because, you know.
Said a can of worms.
Yes, because now that I'm reading this, right, and knowing who the real parolees is through my studies, now it leads me to think this is the reason why.
Oops. Go ahead, Nobility.
This is the reason why we see on certain government buildings the POW banner.
Yes.
Of war banner. This right here explains it. Those people that's in those buildings is the parolees, because we know that King George sent them here as servants to work off the debt that's owed to the Moors. And that's why they in the buildings with the POW banner.
Yes.
That makes so much. This makes so much sense.
That black flag that they put underneath the banner for amity and commerce.
Yes.
That's the banner that you see at all the post offices and all of that stuff. That's what that's about. I didn't even know that. I asked our great Sheikh Taj, like about probably in 2018, I asked him about that, and neither one of us really had a good grasp on why that POWMIA flag was at all the post offices and things. I knew it meant something, but I wasn't sure what. And Ancestor said, just give it time, we'll show you. And that's what they were showing us about capitalism. So remember, Moors, when we put the law on the public record to suspend capitalism, now we're seeing the markings of it. Everybody there, and Justice Anthony, the ones that you were speaking to when you went to the post office, they were on parole, and they know that. It says a release from prison given to a prisoner before his sentence has expired. Sentence being the word. On condition of future good behavior. Good behavior is the same standard that judges and justices are held to, according to the Constitution. And then it says, the sentence is not set aside and he remains under the supervision of a parole board. And who do you surmise is the parole board? Congress. Us.
We are? Okay. I was about to say, we are.
Yes, ma'am.
We are.
Yes, ma'am.
Empress, and does it also have to do with probation?
Of course. Probation is really just parole with a price attached to it.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Empress Amani. We heard you, Empress Amani.
Oh, perfect. I'm trying to unmute me, and I'm speaking, and nobody's hearing me. Okay. Islam, I'd like to go back to the governing of our mental, and I apologize. I had a couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Governing our mental. I had an experience this past 7 days, and a subject said something to me, and I quickly put them in their status and gave them what am I saying? Action.
Mm-hmm.
My brain is not working right now. But anyway, so I had given them that, right? And then the next day, I overheard them say something that it sounded like it was a result of what I did. And so, and I think when I put them in place, and it was the energy that was behind it. And I think that's how we invoke our power. I'm not exactly sure. I know that it still is our words, but sometimes, just like you were expressing earlier, that if we don't govern our mental, we can explode the universe.
Yeah.
And I know that we have this experience in our background about Christianity, and we've heard that saying about a righteous indignation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that that's exactly what happened, because I had that energy behind it that I'm gonna put you in check. You know, getting where you gonna get, there's causing an issue here. I said, don't do that. I said, don't do that.
Yeah.
And that was basically all I said. And I gave him a court action. That's what was in my brain a moment ago. Gave him a court action.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's another question that I have now. I think that was happened. That is what happened. But then the second question is, how do we handle family? Because I know we do everybody else and we give them a court action and et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But what about our clients? We think that they can say anything to treat us any kind of way. Yeah.
With family, now, this is with anybody, but we'll just say with family too. With kin, with clan. Did you know that you can do a court action in your spirit without your lips even moving and it still works the same?
Did not know that.
Yes. Because it's spoken in the spirit realm first. And with our clan, it's always a spiritual issue first. So we must have, yes, just as Maurice Lloyd L. says, mind is matter. Yes. We can speak to their spirit in the spirit realm, and it will cause them to respond a certain way in the natural. I do it all the time. So you don't, again, we never have to go back and forth with anybody. We don't have to war with anyone. All we got to do is, in our mind, we can be thinking that court action language and issuing out sentences in there also with the right spirit, and asking questions in the spirit realm, and issuing the law and issuing verdict and justice in the spirit without our lips moving. We don't even have to close our eyes or anything. And do you know that the ancestors will manifest whatever it is? I do it all the time. We're very powerful. We're very powerful. And I'm now actually teaching these things to my Empress so that she will know, because her voice is very soft. And so a lot of the things that she does, she'll have to do them spirit realm first anyway.
Well, one of the things that I know how I handle, especially when we're on the phone, when it gets to the point that it looks like we're warring, I'll let them know, okay, I got to go. I'll talk to you soon.
In the past, what I've done is just ask them. I just ask them to hold on for. If you hold on for just a moment, hold on for just a moment, and right there, I'm doing the court action in my spirit. I'm doing the court action in my spirit, and I'm saying, ancestors, fix it. And then I start speaking, and then and usually, and it's been this way 100% of the time. When I do it that way, the ancestors first adjust my energy. They adjust my energy so that I can say the right things. And sometimes that means me saying, okay, maybe you thought I didn't hear you. If you want to repeat whatever it is that you said, go ahead and repeat it so that we're on the same page. They'll have me adjust my energy. And when I adjust my energy, it works like a charm. It's like, because see, other people get their energy from us. But that's because we are aware of our energy. When you know better, you do better is actually a spiritual principle. And just because a child may not know how to put words to what they're feeling doesn't mean they don't feel it. Therefore, when we adjust our energy, people can feel it without saying that they feel it. They'll know because something in them will change. So with family, a lot of what I'm doing is just in the spirit realm first. Sometimes people can be in the other room and they're yelling about something didn't get done or whatever the case may be, and as soon as I hear it, I'm like, court action, ancestors stepping in, and then the ancestors will give me the right words to say to de-escalate the situation and de-escalate the energy, because see, we're in control of the energies. That's something that somebody who's yelling or cursing or being emotional, they're not in control of the energies. But when you're in control of the energies, emotions will line up with that. And then the physical will line up with the emotion.
Islam.
Islam, nobility.
Peace and love. Empress, how are you, first of all?
All is well, nobility. How are you?
Good. That's good. And peace and love to the Congress as well. This is Noble Akil Kanemi Liel. I'm just from the Sakamexan territory. I was wondering if you could share that letter of the probational letter to for the Congress.
The letter that we shared earlier?
Yeah, about the probation of the
parole for them?
Yes.
There's a link to it. Did I share the link? No, I didn't. May not have. Okay, here you go. Thank you, Justice Akil. I thought I shared it, but there it is right there in the chat. You're welcome, nobility.
I have another engagement also, so I'm gonna have to leave at this time. So
Islam, Justice. Okay, Islam, Justice Akil. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Peace and love.
Islam.
Islam. I just want to share something briefly, if I may.
Yes, in nobility.
Remember, I told you I have anger issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was this is about 2-3 years ago. I was talking to my brother on the phone, and he was misunderstanding what I'm saying. To get to the point, I began to holler at this guy at the top of my lungs as I'm talking, right? And I did this for a good minute and a half. And what caught my attention was that he started to speak, respond to me, but he's calm. It impressed me to the point where I said, hold up, man, hold up. How is it that you was able to stay calm after I did all that hollering at you? And it wasn't his answer. It was just the fact that I synced myself.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I had a question, and because he set a good example for me.
Yeah.
And I had to acknowledge that because I'm on that path. You know?
Yeah.
So it's amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And usually what I hear a lot from people that get angry is that they're afraid.
Yeah.
And that's why they got to speak, they got to say something. And sometimes we're so insecure with ourselves that we need a okay. We need approval. So, and that's what makes it difficult for us to really come into our power, because the power's within. You just got to overcome your lower nature to get to your higher nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just want to share that.
Thank you, nobility. Our higher nature is stronger than our lower nature, but you wouldn't think so, because you know, sometimes our lower nature just, you know, that's where all the yelling and screaming and cursing, and that's only because we care that we do that, even, you know. So parole is the word. The conditional freedom granted by such release, or the period of such freedom. In military usage, a special password used as a check on the countersign for more complete identification. Complete identification. Now remember, I don't know if you all know this. Some of you know it, though, from listening to the Great Chief Ties. What is the password for the subject? Do you know the password for their parole? Our Great Chief told us.
Is it trustee? I don't know.
What did you say, Empress?
Trustee? I don't know.
It's not that.
Islam is a subject status?
It's not that. Our Great Chief tell us all the time.
Islam.
Somebody, Empress Gloria, what did you say?
White. W-H-I-T-E, white.
No, it's not white. She said white. It's not white.
Islam is Jesus.
It is Jesus. It's Jesus. That's the password. That's the password.
Islam?
Islam, Empress.
Will you explain? I don't know if that's like, something happening and they're going, Jesus.
So, listen. Christianity is their parole role. Because, see, the root word of the word parole is role, R-O-L-E. That's what you do. That's what actors and actresses do. They play a role. And so Christianity is that's their platform. And so whenever we hear the word Jesus, that's why some of them were saying, well, we came here for religious freedom, so that they could invoke that and we would leave them alone. But see, that's why they kept saying this is a Christian nation. Our founding fathers put this as a Christian. That's the platform by which they were doing all the acting.
Point of interest?
Islam, Empress.
Islam. I'm also noticing over here in Canaan land the same enactment from the citizens. They're also saying the same thing. There's so many Muslims around, and this is a Christian nation, and they better not think that they're going to take over because this is a Christian nation. So I do see it all throughout the Americas where they're trying to invoke that as they were established under that. So it makes sense what you just said.
And Empress, they mispronounce both of them. They mispronounce Christian. It's actually Christendom. That means we gave you a name. We christened them because they didn't have names before.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That makes sense.
We did that.
No John Doe or Jane Doe.
None of that. No. We gave them a name. That's why we don't have names, because we own names. We don't have them. We own them. And then they said Muslims, but it's actually Muslim. We're Islamic Muslims. Islamic Muslims are those of us who know that the law is our religion. That's why you don't ever hear us talking about, 5 times a day on the carpet and all of that. That's a religious ritual, and we're okay with them doing that. We're not mad at them for that. Anytime we do any of that, it's us touching our pineal gland to the earth to connect energetically. It's not to pray to some God that we think is out there when we know we're God. Anytime we touch our pineal gland to this earth, then the earth is going to align with our pineal gland, with the vibration of our pineal gland. And then our feet we use to ground ourselves and the earth together. So, yeah, that's the password is Jesus. And
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
I believe that the doctrine of discovery is the culprit for their behavior, because that had been passed down from generation to generation until it morphed into what we are dealing with today with the subject.
So, Empress, you're correct about that, in that the doctrine of discovery and dum diversa. Dum diversa just means dumbed down, diverse language. In other words, capitalism versus non-capitalism. That's what the doctrine of discovery, that's how it was enacted, is with capitalism. They didn't come over here and conquer nobody, as you can see, because we're still here. They didn't conquer anything. All they did was capitalize everything and try and make us think that their capitalized versions of it was the original, and that we had to do what they said based on their capitalism. And all we're doing is stating that, no, that's actually not true, and that at any time we can suspend that which we have. And now you see what's happening because we've done that. Been on parole the whole time. On parole, at liberty under conditions of parole. Parole, to allow liberty on parole, to release a prisoner on parole. Parole, not committed to writing, oral, verbal, also written but not sealed. This is so important right here. This part right here. Written but not sealed. You have to first have a seal that has some authority before you can seal anything. And all we had to do was start sealing and stamping and autographing and agreeing together.
Point of interest.
Islam, Empress.
Islam. Okay, so would that be why Donald Trump and the so-called Supreme Court, because they're all fraud, is going head-to-head in court, because Donald Trump said that if you really read that document in regards to the birthright citizen, it was meant for the people that were in slavery. It wasn't meant for everybody else, or people coming over here, something like that. He has stated on the record. So would that be why they are going head-to-head to now it's becoming a case for them to decide?
Yes, but to the degree that he understands capitalism. And that's why some are saying he's been convicted of 36 felonies. When he was doing Donald Trump Enterprises, he was using capitalism. And so they're trying to stick him with that. But he's saying, I'm not any of that anymore. I'm a subject of the Moors. And that's why they're going head-to-head, because he knows that that's not a real Supreme Court. He knows we're the real Supreme Court, and we govern the people.
Okay, I see you. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you for that.
He knows now. He knows. You don't. That's why so many of the subjects wanted him to be their leader, because they know he gets it. He knows the difference between capitalism and law.
Islam justice. In addition to that, one of the main points in that, they were asking him about the citizenship. He was saying that he wanted the courts and the lawyers to explain to the people that the citizenship thing is about slavery, and he's not supporting slavery. That's why he's leaning on winning the case with that he's not supporting slavery.
He's just waiting for someone to issue something saying, okay, you good, you did good.
Yeah, it's right.
But in the right words,
Yeah.
See, he's been released from prison on parole. He's a parolee. There's the definition on the screen. A parole arrest, an arrest ordered of a person, not a people. You will not see the word people when you start talking about crimes. Crimes is about persons only. An arrest ordered of a person violating the law in the presence of a judge, magistrate, or other officer of the peace as for an offense committed in open court. When he was doing business, quote unquote, everything he did, even when you saw Trump Plaza, it was in all capital letters up there, big and bold, all contracted out. And that's why he didn't give a crap about paying anybody, because he had a lot of quote unquote subcontractors, people acting as subcontractors. And he would contract with them and then be like, okay, it's time to pay. Okay, we don't care. We're not going to pay you. He did that repeatedly at New York territory, because he knew the money wasn't real either. He knew the fiat wasn't real. Now, we stated that we were going to point some things out, so let's do that. Empress Cynthia, we saw a video. We saw so many videos like this. It says more citizens get letters from Homeland Security ordering them to leave America. And if you'll notice, they put ordering them to leave America in all capital letters. It's over for capitalism, for foreign fraudulent capitalism. It's a wrap. And here's the link to that video if you all will to look at that. Some of these I looked at because they do give some hints and some answers in there. And then under one of the videos, there was someone who put this comment there saying, I'm a U.S.-born American who lives outside of the USA. I'm watching this from afar, and it is terrifying. This is not the country I grew up in. He's trying to give them a hint. There's no, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this comment? Can anyone point out what's wrong with the comment?
Islam.
Empress.
Empress Shasha. Well, first of all, he says he's a U.S. born. No one can be born in the U.S.
Hello. Correct. That is correct.
Absolutely. He cannot be an American unless he's a Moor, judging by the picture I know. And he lives outside of the USA. Well, everywhere, every land is outside of the USA.
Every country is outside of the USA.
Every country, right, is outside of the USA. And this is not the country he grew in. Well, if he grew there, it wasn't a country. So, everything about what he's saying is completely jurisdictionally corrupt, twisted, backwards, forwards, and incompetent. Let me just go right there.
Very incompetent, and he's basically admitting to being a corpse.
Exactly, and being a parolee.
Parolee. A dead person.
Dead. Mm-hmm.
And see, this is the thing, Empress and Moors. I don't even have to see his picture to know that he's acting as a corpse and a parolee. Exactly. It's based on the words coming out of his instrument.
The sound he is making.
Yes.
Yes.
And that sound doesn't have a face.
And the sound doesn't have a face.
It's incompetent, period.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even about, skin color. It's about what you say. That's why what we say is so important.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not about complexion at all. It's not about.
It's about It's about the words, because again, in the beginning was the word. The word came first.
The word came first. And the word is what brought things into being.
Yes.
So, absolutely.
And we're not allowing any words to come into being calling somebody a U.S. born American. That is not real. He's delusional.
It's completely delusional.
It's delusional. He needs mental help.
And that's absolutely the truth.
He needs some mental health therapy and stuff. He needs some long-term deprogramming.
Mind work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's speaking from he's talking about things that don't even exist.
My.
And see, we would be the first ones to label him a mental health hazard.
And absolutely, the truth of the matter is, by the words he's actually typed there, he really is a hazard.
He's a hazard. He's a danger to himself, not to us.
Right. Because he's
himself
trying to fight for something that doesn't exist, and by his own word, he's saying,
how are you going to be a living American and you came out of a corpse? How does that happen? Corpses can't have babies.
Exactly. Only parasites, maggots, worms. But anyway, but that's really the truth of it. And in truth,
so and then if he tries to do things that Americans do, he'll get himself hurt. He'll get in some trouble.
He will.
Trying to do that.
He will.
We don't want to see anybody get in trouble for ignorance and carrying on.
No,
Islam.
Because we take care of our subjects also, but they must be right of mind and status.
Did you know that Ellis Island was a mental hospital? That's what they had to go through to even come here?
That, and we've discussed this on Congressional before, but yes, asylum.
Yes. And see, that's why they were offering refugees that looked like us asylum. They were saying, y'all crazy if you think this land ain't yours.
That's absolutely the truth. It is so.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And once we know that, well, one can move forward. But until you know it is what it is, you're kind of lost.
You will think you are a refugee and you need asylum somewhere.
Somewhere, and you're on your own land. You are your own land. You are.
How mentally crazy is that? That means someone's not been governing their mental.
And that's absolutely the truth. And that is why then they can have a corporation govern their mental and thus their actions and everything else. My mind.
And then if they had any land, you can just take that. Because they don't know what they don't know where they are. They don't even know who they are. They don't know what they are.
What exactly?
Crazy.
How? When? I mean, they are completely, yeah.
See, those capital letters are not to be played with.
Absolutely.
It took 2 capital letters for him to be completely crazy.
Isn't that the truth?
2.
Wow.
2 capital letters for him for somebody to say he need to be locked up until he.
You don't go beyond that in truth.
2.
You don't need to go beyond that. That's it.
That's how important capitalism suspension is.
Yes, it is.
Islam
nobility.
Is it true that Donald Trump is a Moor?
No. It is true he is a Moorish subject, ipso jure.
No, I hear he's a private citizen or something like that. I don't know if he's a Moor or what.
Look,
that's why he was not able to be jailed the other day.
All of that private citizen stuff and all of that and all, there's subjects and there's Moors. Okay, we're not playing with the capitalism piece where they, in capital letters, they claim all these titles and stuff. No, he's a Moorish subject ipso jure. His grandfather was a Moorish subject ipso jure also. They're all Moorish subjects ipso jure. His mother is a modern European. His grandmother, modern European. His great-grandmother, modern European. And that's what makes him a Moorish subject.
I believe he claimed German.
Okay, so let's straighten that out. It's the same way as when subjects were claiming to be Americans, and see, they were called American subjects at first. Okay, but what happened was they dropped the subject and they just kept saying American. They dropped the subject and kept saying German, and nobody corrected them. They're German, they're Irish, they're European. No, German subject, Irish subject, European subject. Islam.
I saw a video put on a coffee with the Jews, saying that he converted to a Jew. He went up to the wall that they go up to, put his hands on the wall, and was praying.
Okay, what do they call that wall? It's called the wailing wall. That means you're crying, you're mourning.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he had on the coffee with a lot of leaders from the Jewish community, saying that he converted to being to a Jew.
Okay, but they don't have the authority to convert anybody into anything, because they're not even real Jews.
Exactly.
So that's the end of that. Oh my goodness.
So would you say Donald is helping the cause of the Moors?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. There's no one out there that's not helping our cause. No one out there that's not helping it. Actors that were acting as fake police, when they did what they did with us in terms of the acting and having us do the POW, they strengthened us. So they didn't. Here we stand. So there's no one. Islam Empress.
So what would you say about what that stunt was the other day with South Africa, with those Caucasians that are in South Africa that he's inviting to be in the Americas?
Where is he inviting them to?
Good question. I have no idea. I just know he's inviting them, and 70,000 of them are planning on going.
Where are they going? Can you go to a corporation somewhere that doesn't exist that's bankrupt? How y'all gonna eat?
Oh, okay, I hear you.
So he has his orders. All he's really doing is waking folks up, because see, you can tell, and this is what's really been going on, is people have been traveling supposedly, but then when they get they get a shock when they get to that port and they can't get in. They can come, but they're not coming where they think they're coming to. So when they get to the system is going to system at the port. Because what identification are they traveling on? And that's why we say what we say about all the IDs and all of that is we must create our own. And then we say, okay, now, if you say that you're subject to the Moors and that you're going to obey the Constitution, then, okay, the system is going to system with that. Is your affidavit on plain white paper on the public record stating who you are? Is it on the public record? A plain white piece of paper for the subjects without spot or wrinkle or blemish or any such thing. Such thing is any usurpation or attempts at any of that or capitalism. That's what the such things are. The scripture says without spot or wrinkle or blemish or any such thing. So your affidavit will have the truth on it. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me, Jah.
So help them us.
That sounds weird. So help them us.
Yeah, I'm just truth. I'm just telling the truth.
But I get it.
So that public record is also a court action by us because we started that. So Egyptian subjects, Australian subjects, subjects from Greenland, they're not anything other than that. They're not anything other than that because, see, here's the thing. And this is not an ego statement, and this is not trying to keep somebody down so we stay up, because we know that's a psychology too, where some people, they keep pushing somebody down so they can stay up. We don't have to do that because we've been up from the beginning. There's no question about who's up. God is God, period. That's not even on the table for discussion. What it is order. Order in the courtroom. That's what it is. It's just order. It's order.
I used to be a sergeant at arms.
Islam.
You know what that is? I keep the order, right?
Mm-hmm. Same as a bailiff.
Well, not really.
What's the difference?
Oh, this one just keep the house, the Congress in order. Anybody else the line, we kick them out. Oh, after 2 warnings, 3 warnings.
And Congress is a court action, so it's like being in a court and keeping the order in the court, like a bailiff does.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. You're right. Didn't see it that way.
Yeah. Because, see, we see it, Justice Willie, we see everything as a court action because we know that it is now. We didn't think that before, and all of our training was trying to mislead us into thinking, oh, no, you have to go down to the court in order for this to be valid. No, court was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere, including the churches, the hospitals, the side of the road, the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, banking, all of it was court action. We just didn't know it at the time.
You know what I find interesting? I was in Brampton over the weekend, last weekend. And Brampton, when I came here in 2009, used to be so white, it's not funny in the banks, all the business places. But now, when I go there, I was shocked. I even had to do a little clipping in the bank itself. There was only one white girl there. All of the others, the entire Brampton, and is taken over by the Indians. And I'm wondering, where have all these white folks disappeared and gone to? I don't understand it. Because they have actually handed over the country on a platter to India. All of the businesses, the franchises are now owned by the Indians, and the white people I don't know if they're going back to some other provinces or they're going back to Europe, but something is definitely happening. Is it you who did it?
So they are not white. They were black from the beginning, and so they're just going to the place where blacks were supposed to be. See, here's the thing. When you went down to a fake court, what you didn't realize is that they were dealing with you as if you were in Europe. Not America, Europe. And that you were a European subject. That's how they were dealing with you. As if you were a subject of modern Europeans. And this is not about race. It's not about that because, again, this is about the spiritual aspect and the natural aspect. It's about the systems. That's what I'm saying. Okay? The European system has black subjects, which is, to me, not real. For us, that's not real. And so if you were to go over to Europe, you'll see the Moorish architecture everywhere. Everywhere. Whereas here they hid a lot of it and built these big box buildings and all of that kind of stuff. So we're just putting things back like it should be, because there's no such thing as a Moor who is a subject unless they agree to be subjects. And there are some Moors who will always be subject because they've agreed to that. And they do not want to change because they think there's some safety there. But there isn't. We all know that there isn't. So Europe has gotten back into its proper place. This land is not Europe. Europe is over there. We are the crown that governs over there, all of us. We are the crown. There's no kings that are not our sons. There's no kings that are not our sons. And all of our sons are emperors and kings and judges and justices and the nobility and all of that. And whatever else, bankers and all of that. So there's no way for us to be subjects. There's no way for us to be subjects. So Moors have to move out of that. Period. I mean, if I had known back in 2009 and 2008 that I was pretending to be a European subject, that's why they have the European Union and then the United Nations. You see the difference there? They have the European Union and the United Nations. And the European Union was some subjects who wanted to be sovereign. They know our history. And they were actually preserving some of the information. They were preserving some of the information. To include the Swiss banking, Swiss gold-backed banking. That's why people made such a big deal out of Swiss bank accounts, because they were partially backed by gold, even in the previous era. So that's why the citizens are having, they're having a wake up, just like we're waking up, they're waking up too. Except they've always known, but they had to know we were waking up. So there's a book that was drafted by one of the subjects called "They Own It All, Including You, by Means of Toxic Currency." So the subjects are starting to tell the truth about the money piece, the currency, and versus the fiat piece. All over the place, you can see them telling the truth about, oh, fiat's not real, fiat's fake. Now what's happening, and this is something that was affirmed by one of the subjects over in Europe, he's in the United Kingdom and the Wales area. One of the subjects, he has taken his whole channel is about our architecture and how we were here first. But of course they just say there was a ancient civilization that was here that's been hidden. And they're all now talking about leaving the different places. In other words, what they're really saying is leave capitalism and get back on the land, because the Moors are, that's how you escape the debt curse and the death curse. So they're starting to do these different videos. Now they're saying why half of America is empty, and they put America in capitis diminutio minima, but then they said nobody, that's in all capital letters, wants to live in these 10 empty states. And empty is in all capital letters because they're not really empty. We're right here. So the transition that we've been talking about and that we've been working to manifest is manifested. So Moors who are looking at domiciles and things of that nature, get your documentation together. We don't have to use fiat to get things, okay? The stuff is here for us. All we have to do is honor the process, okay? So Justice Johnny talked about a brick and mortar bank. We're not going to have to worry about a brick and mortar bank. There'll be plenty of them. The clearing is happening right now. And again, Morris, we didn't have to pick up a gun for this to happen. All we had to do was sharpen our pens, sharpen our minds, and speak the word and agree peacefully. All we had to do was keep the peace. That's it. We will have access to everything. They're doing
of unity.
Yes, Empress Cynthia, yes. Unity, oneness, peace. Okay? There's when the Biblios talks about you'll be getting back double for your trouble and a thousandfold return and all of that, don't worry, it's here. It's here. Just stay peaceful, stay focused, be patient, keep learning about you. Know thyself. Continue to let us keep meeting, because that's important. And you know, there were times when I thought, can we please see each other face to face? And the ancestors was like, it's coming, like, just keep doing what you're doing, it's coming. All we have to do is keep doing what we're doing. Stay consistent, stay unified, and keep moving. Each one of us could have 1,000 houses, 1,000 domiciles, and 1,000 conveyances. You're going to be bored with that stuff. You're going to be looking for something greater to conquer after a while. And we'll do that too. It's there. It's plenty for us to do now. Don't get it twisted. It's lots to do. So but see, all we had to do was command the systems and just keep moving peacefully. Because see, if it's one thing that the previous actors cannot do, is they don't have a strategy to deal with peace except to be peaceful. Now they got a strategy for all them guns. They got a strategy for that. That's easy for them. They got a strategy for guns and all of that, and war. We put the strategy in them for war. But the peacefulness and the court action, see, a peaceful court action, there is no weapon there's no weapon for it. There's no weapon that exists at all for a peaceful court action by a sovereign. And all we have to do is keep doing what we're doing. This particular video that I saw, that I'm showing you just the caption of it on the screen, this subject was talking about how he would go up to the northern cities in the UK, the United Kingdom. He would go up to the northern cities, and whole cities would be boarded up and have nobody in them. And he said that the majority of the cities are like that. And everybody is concentrated in certain cities like London and, different places. But that's the same way it is here. Here, people are concentrated near the capital cities and things like that. But there's so much open space for us to have dominion over as well. But you know what? It was our duty to get these capitals and cities in alignment first. We had to do that first, so that they wouldn't think they could come out into, even if we moved out into the middle of nowhere, because some people thought that moving out in the middle of nowhere was the key until somebody else showed up out there. So all we had to do was do the heavy lifting now, which we've done, and everything else is in alignment. It's aligning and in alignment. Now, the Canaan land Moors, Islam Justice Dumas.
Yeah, a lot of them there. I saw where Trump had put tariffs on 125% tariff against China, and China turned around and placed 84% tariff on the U.S. And what China did was change the money banking system, what they want to spend on the U.S. dollars, and what I'm trying to say.
Justice Dumas, that's the key. It's change the system, and you won't have to pay that stuff, right?
Right. And so a lot of raw materials, like Canada, has shifted oil and everything, the pipeline to Europe, and China. They left the U.S. out of the loop, and Alaska is cut off. It's cut off from the U. They have to use Canada, the highway to Canada. It's a mess for them, and when you see a lot of the cities and towns are cut off, that's the same thing that's happening over here.
So let me add a little clarity to that, Nobility. I see what you're saying about supply lines being cut off. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying, Nobility? About supply lines being cut because of terror?
It's not.
So yeah, that's happening, but only for capitalism persons rather.
It's not.
Okay. No one has the authority to tax or tariff natural resources but us.
Right.
And so natural resources are not even in capital letters. That's how come you never saw them really drilling for oil and all of that stuff here in a major way, because it's not, natural resources are not talked about in capital letters. That's against the law. It's against the law. The earth is not taxed, and we're the earth. We're not taxed. When we put a legal system in place, which we've done, then we can use that system to do whatever, to manifest things, but no one has the authority to tax us. None. And see, for those who are still using fiat, don't feel bad. It's going away. Don't feel bad. It's going away. After a while, you won't have any to use. But fortunately, you'll have our systems. And that's what this time is now. This time now is us seeing what our nation has to offer each other. We have some sea salt. We have some. I'm not sure if I showed you all. I don't think I showed the Congress, but we came across another. We have so many natural resources that is just amazing. We came across another natural resource that is just so abundant. And I know the photo is kind of blurry, but that is called moorishe spinach. It's called moorishe spinach. So when you go to the beach, when you go to the waterfront, to the ocean front, this is the Pacific, at Redondo Beach, here at Washington Territory. When you go to most of the beaches, but particularly under the water, there's a plant, there's a grass there. It's called moorishe spinach. So what we did was we went and we harvested some moorishe spinach. And then what we did was let me see, I don't know if this photo is going to show. Is it going to show? Probably not. My computer is a little bit on the slow side. But we harvested the moorishe, just a minute. Let me see if I can get the other photos to show. Okay, there are other photos, but I can't get those photos to show, and that's okay. It loads slowly. But what we did was we took the moorishe spinach home. We brought it back to our laboratories. We soaked it in baking soda because it's a very strong plant, which tells you what it's going to do when it gets inside your system. We brought it home. We had to soak it in baking soda because it's such a strong, the fibers are so strong. And the baking soda and water just broke the fibers down. And then we did several things. We roasted some, which I didn't care too much for that. But when we cooked it like spinach and put it in some soup or ate it like you, because it has the same consistency as spinach, or some really well-cooked collard greens. And it was so good. And there's so much of it that is just, and listen, if you're a good cook, you're going to make it taste good, because you can make anything taste good. But it tasted so good. We even put some on eggplant. We seasoned it up and put mushrooms and onions and things in it, and put it on some eggplant, and then put some Swiss cheese on top of that, and it was so good. It was so good. So what the ancestors are doing is taking us through the transition of knowing that our grocery store is the whole earth. And we can go out there and they will show you. They will show you how to pull from the earth, what to do with it, and how to get it moving in your life and working in your life. You know, many of us knew how to do that, except we were attaching fiat to the products that we came up with. Well, now it's different, because we're actually using real substances, real products, real things. And so that requires, it requires substance for substance. And that is whatever we state that it is. More sovereign delarium, gold, silver, or we can exchange commodities. That's a commodity. You know, this is things that we get from the land are commodities. So one of the things that we noticed, and this is right along the lines of that, is that the products that we used to go to the grocery store to look for are being pulled from the grocery stores. In black operations, all of Canada corporation provinces have enacted rejecting all U.S. alcohol and are removing all from the shelves. Also, they're removing the Amazon products. Amazon Corporation ceased all operations at Quebec Province Corporation. Canadian vendors do not buy U.S. products anymore for this particular vendor's store or an actor acting in the office of vendor. So there's a question in the chat that says, with subjects reporting 10 states empty and depopulation, where are these persons gone? And would it be related to Cabbage Patch children and the orphans from the orphan train? So they're going back to Europe. And by going back to Europe, and then some of them, well, and they can't go there. The ancestors already told. I was going to say some of them have gone into the mountains, but the ancestors ran them out of there. They were hiding all up in the mountains, so they flooded the mountains. And they had to come out of there. But they're going back to Europe, which is where they originate from. And then here's the thing, even about the states being empty, because some people might be uncomfortable with that situation. Don't be uncomfortable with it. It's been that way anyway. There was a perceived abandonment of estate, but not for us. We've always been here. We always will be here. And we don't have any problem repopulating. Just, you know, we don't have no problem with that. We look forward to that process as well. We're looking forward to that. It's already started. So there's going to be plenty of us. You know, my mother had 10 heirs. 10 heirs. One of the heirs died when he was young. Her firstborn was taken. Did you know that that's an Egyptian enactment also? Her firstborn son, my mother's firstborn son, was taken because she was going into Egypt. She was in Egypt. We don't have to worry about that now, though. We're good now. So she had, you know, we can make plenty of babies. That's a beautiful thing that we're looking forward to. On another topic previously, we heard the statistics about the murder capital of the world, and the three that they were talking about was Chicago, New York, or Mississippi. Remember when they used to give those statistics and they would say it was always the black people, quote unquote, that were dying at high rates of numbers? What they were really doing was saying that there was a lot of decapitations going on in those places. A lot of decapitations commercially. That means that people were signing contracts and contracting with the corpses. You know, that's what all of that was about. And they know that Chicago, Detroit, and Mississippi were the three places, and Alabama and Florida were some of the places where the Moors were the stronghold, where our strongholds were there at those places. Process-wise, New York with the finance, even North Carolina with the finance, with the banking. New York was known for paper, all that paper. North Carolina was banking and finance. Florida was government. That's why they had that whole quote unquote Jeb Bush down in Florida, the actor acting as President Bush's son. Actors had to go down to Florida because they were trying to do something with the Alhambra there, and trying to overlay that. So, and they used Florida A&M University to do that, to even start enacting that. And we know that Florida A&M is predominantly black, quote unquote. So what it was is it actually meant murder by capitalism. That's what it meant. So now that we have all of this information, Morris, do we know where all of this stuff was coming from? Do we know where all the actors and everything were coming from?
Islam?
Islam, Empress.
Islam. Can we open for a second?
Sure.
Thank you. So, and I don't know the answer to that question yet.
Okay, Islam, thank you, Empress. Do we know where all the acting and actors and all of that came from? Islam nobility.
I say us.
Of course us, ultimately. When they used to talk about Jews running Hollywood, they were really just talking inadvertently. We're not Jews, but inadvertently talking about.
They were talking about, it came from media, TV.
Empress Shatali?
Yes.
Did you say media and TV?
Yeah.
That's so good. That's why they called it Columbia. And they always talked about Empress Columbia or Queen Columbia being over the United States.
Wow. Yeah, I think about the Trail of Tears and, how they want to push us out and, and take over. And now, and then you have these states where you didn't want to go to because it was predominantly modern Europeans, and they were, and they were violent towards us. And so I'm looking at these 10 states that don't have anything but mostly old people in them. But, but they wanted these states all to themselves without us being part of the commerce or anything. And it just crumbled.
Oh, it crumbled for sure.
All that work trying to get us out of the way so they can just have it to themselves, and then they can't. I mean, they can't make anything work. Their whole colonization system has crumbled. But they wanted us out of the way, so we were out of the way, and this is what they got.
Out of the way. The real reason that we could say they wanted us out of the way, quote unquote, and I'm putting that in air quotes because they already know no way without us. But the reason for the out of the way piece is is because they could not cover up all the buildings, the pyramids, the cities. They couldn't cover them all up. They couldn't. So we had to be moved as we consented and concurred. We had to be moved away from the Midwest and the cities, the middle of our land, because in the middle of the land, it's still cities with streets of gold and all of that still on this landmass here. Just because they put a park there and say you can't go there and that you have to drive around it don't mean it ain't there. It's cities. Our ancestors are still here. They haven't gone anywhere. It's just some of them did not will to be a part of the acting. They said, okay, you all can go do the acting. We'll stay right here and wait for y'all to finish. And when you finish, let us know. And we'll assist you in getting everything back the way it's supposed to be. They haven't gone anywhere.
I call it their 15 minutes of fame.
That's about the size of it. That's about the size of it. We were never alone. No. Islam Empress?
I said get to go in Mama's closet and put on her shoes. for a minute.
The servants going into the main palace and acting like they own it.
Yeah.
And we just thought it was so cute and funny, we just moved out the way for a little while and said, let's watch this and see what happened. Then it wasn't so funny, POW demonstrations and stuff. And then we said, okay, back to normal, back to nobility. But that's where it was coming from. I saw a movie the other day. I watched a movie from 1956, I think it was, that one of the subjects identified himself as an American subject, and then the one with him said, no, you're a citizen. And he said, American citizen. You know, he was going out he was over in, I don't know, Yugoslavia somewhere or Poland, pretending to be an American citizen. But there was no such thing as an American citizen. It was only subjects and moors, as it is today. And so that's why we're seeing all of these things happen. Okay. And then also at the end of every movie, even like the end of Michael Jackson's videos and other things, you will see this statement right here. This statement says the characters and incidents portrayed and the names used herein are fictitious, and if you'll notice they're in all capital letters, and any similarity to the name, character, or history of any person is entirely accidental and unintentional. And you see that. That's about persons and actors and acting. That includes those that were previously acting as police and acting as mayors and all of that. Those were actors. Boldly placing their names in all capital letters on their uniform so that you will know that that's an actor. Islam Empress.
It's funny when you mention mayor. Well, mayor is a feminine.
Yeah,
most of the so-called mayors the actors have been males. It's an upside down world. Islam.
It was upside down. It's right side up now. Because we know. It's only in our knowing that it changes. Once we know, it's not a secret anymore, and it gets. I saw a video the other day And the only reason that I'm not going to, that I was thinking I'm not going to provide the link to the Congress is because of the spells that they were casting in the video. I would not will that anyone who doesn't have a trained ear, or not a trained ear, but who knows who they are, hear those kind of spells. Okay? But everything they talked about in the video was everything our Grand Sheikh Taj has said. They talked about James Traficant. They talked about Rex 84. They talked about, and it's all subjects talking about this, and those pretending to be Jews previously. They were talking about this, and even at the beginning of the video, they put the video. The guy did a search, and RV Bay Publications came up on his search, and he clicked on that about James Traficant. But the modern European female in the video, she cast so many ugly spells on herself because she wasn't talking to us. That's why I said I'm not going to provide the link, because if Moors hear that and don't know who they are, they'll think it'll speak a spirit of fear into them if they let them, you know. But we don't let that happen. But they talked about verbatim everything our Grand Sheikh was talking about when he used to talk about James Traficant and Rex 84 and all these things that would happen if we didn't stand. And now they've adopted, they took the story and ran with it for them. They're not even talking to us, and they're actually like making it known that we have to tell each other this. So they took that and they run with it because we stand, we're free. We know who we are. Rex 84 doesn't have anything to do with us. James Traficant and the stuff he talked about, we get it. He wasn't talking to us. And now our job, our responsibility from this point is to continue managing the natural resources at Earth and getting those resources to each other as necessary. I did notice that there is gold in the sands, you know, at the beaches and stuff. There's gold in the sands and the mountains. There's gold there. There's silver. I took a photo of some of that stuff. Just things to us, all it is Empress Shash, yes. Empress Shash, if you would let us meet after this Congress today, if that's okay with you, if you have some time for us to meet, you and I. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, all we're doing now is governing the resources, and yes, there is more resources than we have room enough to receive. I could not have collected all the Moorish spinach at the beach. I couldn't have collected all of it if I tried. It was so much of it. It was so much of it. If you like spinach or collard greens, you would love that. You would absolutely love it. You have to make sure you break it down with the baking soda overnight, though, the water and baking soda overnight. You have to, because it's a very strong plant. And guess what? Once you cook it, it's going to smell up the whole refrigerator because it's that strong. I loved it. I loved it. It was delicious. We're still using it because we have so much of it. We froze some of it. So we do have an abundance, more than we even have room to receive. With that, and with our pine tree tea, and with all the other resources that we have, we just have more than enough. So we can see where our ancestors are keeping their word to us, that we would always have more than enough, more than we have room to even package up and keep. So all is well.
Islam
nobility.
How often can we receive the mineral salt?
As often as you will to receive it.
I'd like to receive it every month.
Okay. We'll put you there for every month.
Okay. Gratitude.
Islam. Thank you, Nobility. Yeah, you have enough in your trust to get it every month for forever, really. Yeah, Islam.
I will for that. It's doing me great.
Oh, it's just so powerful. I mean, with just the salt alone, we can heal ourselves. With salt and fasting, no matter what you have going on health-wise, it's going to clear up, no matter what it is. And I'm grateful for that because unlike some of you all, I still like to drink a soda every now and then, or I still like to have a few things like that every now and then. But I even learned how to make natural, and I don't know why this didn't occur to us before, but lemons, limes, and soda water and cane sugar or honey. And that's a Sprite right there. You can even, let's see, what is it? Molasses and soda water and, molasses and soda water with a little bit of lime, and that's a Coca-Cola right there. Islam Justice G, he says sea salt every month, please. Also, Chief Justice Imani has we're getting it out as quickly as we can without burning ourselves out. But Empress Ravana is doing a great job. She's the Chief Executive Officer for the Ancient Salt Minerals Company, and she's doing a great job. I'm just so proud of her, my Empress. So, yep. Are there any questions, comments, wisdom? Islam Justice Council?
When am I going to get my salt minerals?
As quickly as possible. Our list is, we're trying to get them out as quickly as possible, Nobility. As quickly as possible.
So.
Yeah. Islam, those who are inboxing about your salt, it's on the way. It's on the way. It will get to you at some point. We're working. The moorishe spinach, we're going to look at ways to get it out to you. I'm hoping we don't have to dehydrate it, but if we have to dehydrate it to get it to you, we'll do that. And then all you have to do is add water to it, and you'll be able to cook it up and eat it. Yeah. So we're just doing the lab work because we're scientists and finding ways to tribute from the land. So, and add to our books as well. Sea salts from you as well. Yes. Empress Lineal, we received it, and we will be sending your sea salt out as well. Islam. Any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing Congress? You all can see that your word is the law. Our word is the law. Let me see, did we have anything else that we, nope, adjournment. Is there anyone who has any questions about nationality? Now, this Congress is well advanced, but there may be some new Moors who may have some questions about nationality. If you do, get your questions ready and we'll address them at the next Congress. And then each one at this Congress, please be able to have at least keep templates of the nationality and judicial proclamation, the name change and judicial proclamation paperwork, so that if anyone needs it, you can just send it to them via email quickly. But one thing I know about Moors is they're actually taking the initiative and finding those documents for themselves, you know. But we will to be ready because the harvest is here, is on the way, and we all will to be ready to be able to assist them quickly. Islam. If there be nothing further from this Congress at this time for this platform, we will adjourn until next strong on Sunday at this same time. Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Islam.
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 Peace and grand rising, Morris.
Islam. Supreme rising. Supreme rising, Morris.
Grand rising. Enough love and respect.
Islam. Indeed.
Peace and love.
Islam.